Hello and good evening. You're watching Express News with me, Nancy Kohli. Let's take a look at the top stories of the day. Prime Minister Modi chaired the first Pragati meeting of 2020 today. In the 32nd interaction through the ICT-based multi-modal platform, the Prime Minister discussed projects, reviewed progress under crime and criminal tracking network and systems, and grievances related to insurance schemes. Supreme Court made it clear that it will not grant any stay on the CAA without hearing the centre and said it may refer pleas challenging the validity of the Act to a larger constitution bench. Supreme Court also restrained all the High Courts from hearing pleas on CAA till it decides on the petitions. The bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde also said it will hear petitions pertaining to Assam and Tripura separately. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Modi, took several important decisions, including approval for the revised cost estimates for establishment of permanent campuses of the new National Institute of Technology at a total cost of 4.371 crore rupees. The Union Cabinet has approved the extension of the term of the Commission to examine the issue of subcategorization of the OBCs by 6 months, that is up to August this year. The Cabinet has designated Daman as the headquarters of Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Approval has also been given for amendments in the acts dealing with GST, value-added tax and excise duty for promoting minimum government, maximum governance. The Cabinet approved several agreements between India and Brazil, including on the mutual legal assistance in criminal matters, cooperation in the oil and natural gas sector, bilateral cooperation in the field of early childhood and in the field of geology and mineral resources. As part of the government's initiative to spread awareness about central schemes in Jammu and Kashmir following abrogation of Article 370, several union ministers including Ravi Shankar Prasad and Thawarchand Gehlot are visiting the union territory. And as part of the same initiative, the Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy visited Gandarbal district in Jammu and Kashmir. The minister interacted with the local residents there, reviewed several centrally sponsored schemes and also laid the foundation stone for several new projects. Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy said that the government is putting every effort for rapid infrastructure development of Jammu and Kashmir. He said the government is committed to bringing good governance and the rule of law with equality. Union Minister for Minority Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi interacted with the people and shopkeepers at Lal Chowk in Srinagar. He said the atmosphere is positive and that the centre is working to create a strong environment of change. Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, who visited Kathua district, said by December 2021, potable tap water will reach all the households in the territory. The Union Jal Shakti Minister also said the water flowing from Pakistan will be tapped with the completion of Uj Multipurpose Project and Shahpur Kandi Barrage Project. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has said the children of Jammu and Kashmir are nationalists just like all other children, but they are sometimes being motivated in the wrong direction. He said the ones who are motivating them in the wrong direction are the real culprits. Addressing the NCC cadets, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh said that India is not a theocratic country unlike our neighbours. He said this is because India has always believed in Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. President Ramnath Kovind presented the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar 2020 at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. 49 children in the age group of 5 to 18 years were felicitated in a ceremony that saw Union Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Irani and other dignitaries attending. Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar, instituted by the Women and Child Development Ministry, felicitated meritorious children, individuals and institutions through two categories of awards, the Bal Shakti Puraskars and the Bal Kalyan Puraskars. ISRO Chief Dr. K. Sivan has said that the country's first unmanned space mission, Gaganyaan, is well on track and is planned for the end of the year. He also said that 4 astronauts have been identified for the mission and that they will be going to Russia for training. ISRO unveiled the prototype of the humanoid that will go on trial before Gaganyaan goes with astronauts. The robot named Vyoma Mitra can converse with the astronauts, recognize them and can also respond to their queries. Addressing a symposium on human spaceflight and exploration, the ISRO chief said that the Gaganyaan mission is not just about sending a human to space, but that it is an opportunity to build a framework for long-term national and international collaborations and cooperation. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra accused the Congress of using the CAA to abuse Hindus. Addressing the media, Sambit Patra said the Congress leader Ashok Chauhan's statement on Hindus were deplorable. He also slammed the Congress for polarizing the people of the country. Campaigning is gearing up for Delhi Assembly elections, with the Delhi Chief Minister Arun Kejriwal filing the nomination papers. The BJP is fighting the election under the alliance with the JDU and the LJP, while the Congress has forged an alliance with the RJD. The elections will be held on the 8th of next month. The CBI has filed 4 new cases against underworld don Chhota Rajan and his associates under the sections for murder, attempt to murder, extortion and criminal conspiracy. He is currently lodged in Delhi's Tihar jail after being arrested on a red corner notice by Interpol. In the wake of a new coronavirus outbreak in China, thermal cameras have been installed at the pre-immigration area of 7 identified airports in India, including Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata. A total of 43 flights and 9,156 passengers have been screened so far. In the wake of the coronavirus outbreak in China, Union Health Secretary Preeti Sudan said that the Indian government is fully prepared to tackle the situation and all agencies are on an alert. She also said the Indian Embassy in China has been regularly providing updates on the situation. Maruti Suzuki India said its BS6 compliant vehicles have reached cumulative sales of 5 lakh units ahead of the implementation of stricter emission norms from the 1st of April. The company is now offering 10 models with BS6 compliant petrol engines. Market regulator SEBI has notified norms governing portfolio managers, under which the minimum investment limit for investors has been doubled to 50 lakh rupees and the managers have been directed to increase their net worth to 5 crore rupees within 3 years. Market benchmark Sensex surrendered early gains to end 208 points lower today. NSE Nifty closed at 62.95 points. The rupee settled 2 paise higher at 71.19 against the US dollar on easing crude prices. The global crude benchmark Brent was trading 0.48% down at $64.2 per barrel. Gold prices fell by 51 rupees to 40,688 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital on a stronger rupee and weakness in the international market. The silver also declined by 472 rupees to 47,285 rupees per kilogram. After being priceless from generation to generation, a more than 80 years old cyclo used for the production of the movie called For My Children has sold for $1 million to help fund a Cambodia hospital. General Motor Company's self-driving car unit Cruise unveiled a prototype electric self-driving vehicle for use in its planned autonomous ride-sharing service. Netflix added 8.76 million paid subscribers globally, boosted by the launch of Oscar contender The Irishman and returning series The Crown. Shares of the streaming giant were up nearly 2% in trading after the bell. Sugarbox has been chosen as a digital entertainment service provider to provide content-on-demand services for the Indian Railways. The project is expected to be completed by 2022 and will be implemented in trains pan-India. Lions and tigers rescued from Guatemala arrived at a wildlife sanctuary in South Africa after an animal conservation and protection group said they endured years of severe confinement and maltreatment. The non-profit organization has conducted similar operations in Bolivia, Peru and Colombia and rescued nearly 200 animals. The first cruise ship returned to bushfire-ravaged Kangaroo Island in Australia, bringing tourists and a much-needed economic boost for locals. The recent Australian bushfires have burnt more than 2 lakh hectares, putting several species at risk. A 17-year-old girl in Aravalli district has broken her own Guinness World Record in longest hair on a teenager category, earning her the nickname of Rapunzel with 190cm long tresses in 2019. Nilanshi Patel managed to break her earlier record of 170.5 centimeters made in 2018. Chanel transported guests from the bling of Fashion Week to a herb-filled cloister garden where models showed off demure looks in black, white and grey in a nod to founder Coco Chanel's early years in a nunnery. Portugal's Chinese community kicked off their Year of the Rat celebrations with a buzzing, colourful parade taking over one of Lisbon's main arteries. The rat is the first animal in the 12-year cycle of the Chinese zodiac, and it represents a year of renewal, wealth and agility. In a conservative war-torn Afghanistan where it is generally considered a taboo for the women to dance in front of men, a dance troupe with female dancers specializing in the Sama dance is breaking frontiers. Sama dance is a legacy in Afghanistan. Third impeachment trial in the U.S. history began on Tuesday. Democratic members of the House of Representatives are acting as prosecutors in the trial. So far, the senators have debated the rules under which the trial should be conducted. No witnesses have yet been authorized to testify. U.S. Senate Republicans blocked a move for Democrats to subpoena White House aide Robert Blair and White House budget official Michael Duffy to testify in the Trump impeachment trial. The Republican-controlled Senate voted 53 to 47 along the party lines to deny the Democratic-backed amendment. The Republican-controlled U.S. Senate voted early on party lines to approve the rules for President Donald Trump's impeachment trial, rejecting Democratic efforts to obtain evidence and ensure witnesses are heard. After U.S. Chief Justice John Roberts convened the proceedings on Tuesday, the two sides argued over Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's proposed rules for the trial. U.S. President Donald Trump called his impeachment trial a total hoax and predicted it would work out fine. He made his remarks during an event with the European Commission President on the sidelines of the annual meeting at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Thousands were left without power in Spain following an ongoing bout of strong winds and heavy snowfall, which has so far left 4 people dead. More than 30 provinces have been put on bad weather alert due to the storm, including Valencia and the Balearic Islands. In northwestern Syria, at least 23 civilians killed by Russian airstrikes, where a major government offensive to clear out rebels has sent thousands fleeing towards the border with Turkey. At least 8 other civilians were killed in other strikes by Russian and Syrian government warplanes. Russian President Vladimir Putin approved a new government, bringing in a new economy minister and a new first deputy prime minister, but the finance, foreign, defense, energy and agriculture ministers remain the same. The new government was formed in less than a week after Putin unveiled a sweeping constitutional reforms. China's National Health Commission and related departments have launched a joint prevention and control working mechanism to deal with the epidemic situation of novel coronavirus. Under the mechanism, national working groups and panels will be sent to guide the implementation of the prevention measures. Meanwhile, the Wuhan authorities have introduced extra control on people entering and leaving the city. Wuhan officials have been using infrared thermometers to screen passengers at the airports, railway stations and other passengers' terminals since 14th January. China's Ministry of Transport initiated a Class 2 emergency response to guard against an epidemic outbreak during the Spring Festival travel rush. Emergency response was activated after an increase of cases of pneumonia caused by the novel coronavirus reported across China. Washington State Governor encouraged residents not to panic after a Washington State man who recently traveled to China was diagnosed with the coronavirus. He said that the man was listed in satisfactory condition at the Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett, Washington. Lebanon unveiled a new government after Shiite Hezbollah and its allies clinched a deal on a cabinet that must tackle the country's worst economic crisis in decades. The new cabinet, comprising 20 ministers, will be led by former Education Minister Hassan Diab and with economist Ghazi Wazni as the finance minister. North Korea will temporarily ban foreign tourists due to the spread of a deadly new coronavirus in China. The North Korean media on Tuesday reported on countermeasures to prevent the virus and showed health officials holding meetings. There is no report on confirmed cases in North Korea. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo stressed the need for Venezuela and Nicaragua to hold free and fair elections, singling out the country's left-wing governments for criticism. Pompeo called on both the government to cease repression and support free and fair elections. As the world's media descends on Vancouver Island, Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle have issued a warning over harassment by the paparazzi photographers after stepping down from their royal duties to start a new life in Canada. The warning came after the media published images of Meghan taking a stroll through a park in Canada. The government of Argentina will send to Congress a law to restructure the nation's public debt even as the government continues conversations with the International Monetary Fund. Argentine Economy Minister reiterated a call for bondholders to restructure the public debt under an integral macroeconomic program. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has praised Colombia's efforts in tackling drug trafficking and acknowledged the great sacrifices of security forces injured in such operations. The U.S. chief diplomat, who is touring Latin America and the Caribbean, pledged $1 million to support the wounded warriors. Speaking after receiving a prize at the American Academy in Berlin, German Chancellor Angela Merkel urged Western global powers to include China in their multilateral system and treat Beijing equally rather than freeze it out and risk slipping into a Cold War style bipolar order. Bolivia's Congress formally accepted the November resignation of leftist leader Evo Morales and his deputy Alvaro Garcia Linera, rubber stamping the end of his 14-year socialist administration as the South American country heads for new elections in May. Mexican authorities stopped the latest caravan of Central American migrants attempting to head north from southern Mexico with the hope of reaching the United States. Mexico has also offered migrants work in the south, but those who do not accept it or seek asylum will not be issued safe conduct passes to the U.S., the Interior Ministry said. Police and protesters exchanged rocks and tear gas in the streets of Bogotá, Colombia, as demonstrators took to the capital to protest against social and economic policies of President Iván Duque. 5 people have died in the demonstrations, which followed upheaval in other Latin American countries as well. Israeli security forces heavily deployed across Jerusalem and at Ben Gurion Airport ahead of the arrival of the world leaders who will be attending commemorations marking 75 years since the liberation of the Auschwitz extermination camp at Jerusalem's Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial. Schools were closed in Bangkok today due to unhealthy levels of air pollution. The air quality in Bangkok was still hovering at unhealthy levels in the day as the amount of PM 2.5 exceeded safe levels in 3 areas around the capital. The ICJ on Thursday said to rule on a request for emergency measures to Myanmar's Rohingya Muslim before it hears the case accusing the country of genocide. Myanmar's civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi asked the 17-judge panel last month to drop the case as she said the acts did not constitute genocide. French President Emmanuel Macron began his visit to Jerusalem in a meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss regional issues including Iranian nuclear deal. Macron is on a 2-day visit to the region to attend commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration. The closing ceremony of 3rd edition of the Khelo India Youth Games is being held at the Sarsujai Sports Complex in Guwahati. The Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal is attending the event as the chief guest along with the Union Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju. In the Khelo India Youth Games, the Under-21 final of the girls football event, Haryana defeated Tamil Nadu 2-0. The match saw Haryana girls dominating right from the start and Tamil Nadu just couldn't muster any fight back in the whole match. Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic advanced to the 3rd round of the Australian Open by defeating Japan's Tatsuma by 6-1, 6-4, 6-2. Defending champion Naomi Osaka put an angry outburst behind her to reach the Australian Open last 32 by beating Sai Zheng 6-2, 6-4. World number 1 Ashley Barty has shown no signs of buckling under pressure as she secured a spot in the Australian Open 3rd round with a comprehensive straight sets win over Slovenia's Polona Hercog by 6-1, 6-4. Caroline Wozniacki won 6 games in a row to clinch the opening set in Australian Open and also went 3-0 down in the second before mounting a comeback against Ukrainian 23rd seed Diana Yastremska. Meanwhile, Czech 7th seed Petra Vitova, who was beaten by Osaka in last year's final, progressed with a 7-5, 7-5 victory over Spain's Paula Badosa. Simona Halep overcame a wrist injury scare and a fiery opponent to prevail 7-6, 6-1 over American Jennifer Brady in a tense first-round encounter at the Australian Open in Melbourne. After 3 consecutive defeats at the ATP Cup, German Alexander Zverev finally got his 2020 campaign on track with a 6-4, 7-6, 6-3 win over Italian Marco Cecchinato. Ace Indian shooter Apurvi bagged the top honour in the women's 10-meter air rifle event with a final score of 251.4 in the ongoing Maiden Cup International Shooting Championship in Austria. Meanwhile, fellow Indian shooter Anjum Mudgil settled for a bronze with a final score of 229 in the same event. India's Deepak Kumar also won bronze with a final score of 228. Divyansh got a chance to lay his hands on the gold medal in the men's 10-meter air rifle category in the Maton Cup. The Target Olympic podium scheme athlete bagged gold with a final score of 249.7. Sergio Aguero scored his sixth goal in his last 3 games as Manchester City edged a gutsy Sheffield United to notch a 1-0 win in the ongoing EPL. They have 51 points, 13 behind leaders Liverpool but 6 ahead of Leicester. Arsenal showed togetherness and leadership as they overcame David Luiz's red card to twice fight back and share the spoils with Chelsea in a 2-2 draw in the London Derby. Arsenal remain 10 points off a Champions League spot and they have won just one of their last 8 Premier League games. African champions Algeria will begin their bid for a place at the 2022 World Cup against tiny Djibouti in October after the draw was made for qualifying group stage in Cairo and the country was placed in Group A. Senegal also have a favourable draw in Group H while Nigeria are in the Group C. The 2020 Freeride World Tour got off to a high-flying start in Japan, Hakuba, with Drew Tapke from the US and Hedwig Wessel topping ski events in Victor and Marion Harty from France getting top honours in the snowboard. Australia is set to host the 11th edition of the Indoor Cricket World Cup from 10th to 17th of October. Cricketers from up to 10 countries will compete in the tournament in 4 divisions: under 21 men and women and open men and women. India A notched up a convincing 5-wicket victory over New Zealand A in the first unofficial ODI. Chasing 231 after opting to field, India completed the task with more than 20 overs to spare. India's women international master PV Nandida stunned compatriot R. Praganatha in the opening round of the Masters category in the 18th Gibraltar Chess Festival. Indian shuttlers Kidambi Srikanth and Sameer Verma crashed out of Thailand Masters 2020 after losing their first rounds against Shesar Hiren and Lee Jizia respectively. The ICC has appointed Ranjan Madugale, a member of elite panel of match referees, as a referee for the upcoming T20 internationals between Pakistan and Bangladesh to be played on 24th, 25th and 27th of this month. Bangladesh has appointed former West Indies fast bowler Otis Gibson as the country's bowling coach. Gibson will be joining the team in Pakistan for the 3-match T20 international series. After creating a buzz with its trailer, songs and poster, the makers of the film Malang are set to release another song titled Humra. The poster of the song is already out. Maharashtra government has declared Ajay Devgan's star Tanhaji the unsung warrior tax-free in the state. The movie has crashed the box office as it has garnered around 183 crore rupees till now. Bollywood celebrities including Priyanka Chopra, Salman Khan, Anil Kapoor, Kriti Sanon and Varun Dhawan came together at an event Umang in Mumbai to show the respect and support for the Indian police. The makers of the upcoming comedy drama Javani Janeman dropped the much anticipated recreating of the 90s song Ole Ole 2. The light-hearted romance will hit the theatres on 31st of January. The second season of Netflix sci-fi series Altered Carbon will start streaming on 27th February. The streamer announced the date and released a brief teaser video of the show on its official Twitter account. Television personality RuPaul is set to make his Saturday Night Live hosting debut. The Emmy-winning icon of RuPaul's Drag Race will present the 8th February episode with Justin Bieber. Golden Globe winner Laura Dern is the latest name from Hollywood to team up with the Quibi, and the actor will star in the series Just One Drink. Dern will also be the executive produce the series. Actor Raul Castillo has been added to the cast of Guy Ritchie's latest thriller, Cash Truck. The film is a remake of the 2004 French thriller, Les Convoyeurs. South Korean thriller Parasite was the upset winner at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, while Joaquin Phoenix and Renée Zellweger were named the best actors, cementing their roles as frontrunners at the Oscars next month. Bradley Cooper's next directorial, a film based on the life of legendary composer Leonard Bernstein, has shifted its base from Paramount to streamer Netflix. The rights for the film has been acquired by the streamer. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.